Corita Parks at M&T Bank Stadium, where the Baltimore Ravens just pulled off a thrilling 37-31 victory over the Los Angeles Rams. This was a game that, as Lamar Jackson put it, was wild and crazy. First of all, the weather conditions were as forecasted, and they were not favorable for either team. It was rainy and wet the entire game, but each team put up a fight, and this game really went back and forth, and that's how it ended up in overtime. But it was Zay Flowers who capped it off with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Then the Los Angeles Rams, they were able to answer on their own, and that's when this game went into overtime. Tylan Wallace, who has never returned a punt in his career. Of course, he practices it on a day-to-day basis, but he hasn't had to execute it. Well, today he executed it perfectly, returning it for 75 yards, giving the Ravens the win. And when I tell you, this team and the coaches, the way they ran down the sideline to greet Tylan Wallace was something special. And you could really tell after the game that it was emotional. And like I said, it went back and forth, but they rose to the occasion. The Ravens are now 10-3. They'll return to practice this week. And quite honestly, both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, they do have some things that they need to clean up before they take on Jacksonville in prime time next Sunday. Hopefully they'll do what needs to be done from that end, and I'm sure they will. But one thing about this team is they always find a way to win. This is Corita Parks with Bowie Television. Be sure to stay with us for all your Ravens content.
Emotions coming for you right now after a game like that.
I'm still sweating. Yeah. That was crazy. That was a wild game, man. Shout out to Ty. The emotions right now is electric right now. You know, it's not a championship, but it was almost crazy. But like playoff atmosphere. You know, it was a team game, team win. But shout out to Ty and the return team because that was a heck of a return. That was crazy.
Mark, can you talk about the touchdown to Zay in the regulation? What you were looking for on that play and what you saw?
Yeah, was spoken. That was our play call. Nelly, well, coach called the play. And I gave him a preview in the huddle. Nelly was telling me, you know, if we do that play, you gonna run to the safety and run him out of the window. Zay should be wide open, and that's exactly what happened. Read the coverage, safety jumped, Nelly, and Zay did the rest.
Lamar said, so Nelson Aguilar said that in the huddle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because usually the play, he usually runs shorter, and the safety would let's say high, you know, but Nelly knew he was going to run with him if he ran and got on his toes and ran past him. He thought he would have been open, but if Nelly didn't do that, if Nelly would have did that, he would have been open and the safety would have stayed, but that was just a heck of a play.
You had Aaron Donald in your face. Like, how tough of a throw was that?
Aaron Donald, that's a tough throw, you know. But I trust my guys, and I believe my O-line. You know, they did a heck of a job all day. You know, so probably two sides gave up, but with Aaron Donald and that front four, that's great. You know.
Lamar, with the weather today, was there any trouble holding the ball today?
Sometimes, you know, but no excuses. It's football. You got to learn how to find those conditions. And on this East Coast, our weather be bipolar, so we got to just be prepared, no matter what.
Lamar, looked like the deep ball was quite an emphasis today. I mean, you threw, you completed a few, attempted a few more. Just was that what you guys saw?
I wish I'd have had, no mean to cut you off, I wish I'd have had those other few. I felt like I got too excited because I seen them just flying, you know, but I should have just kept my poise and delivered them like I did early on in the game, and the game probably would have moved faster overtime, but got the dub.
Yeah, Lamar, how does a game like this, with the ups and downs, a win like this, prepare you guys for what lies ahead?
Say again?
How does a game like this, with the ups and downs, and a win like this, prepare you guys for what's ahead?
I mean, there's 4 more teams, tough opponents, playoff teams. Rams is definitely a playoff team. We just saw that today, you know, we just got to be prepared, stay locked in each and every drive because these type of games, we got to score points.
Lamar, you have had games this year where you haven't been able to have drives like you did in the fourth quarter. What did it feel like to kind of turn that around today and have that drive at the end of regulation?
Just proving we can make it happen. You know, when we really need it, down, trying to win the game. We don't want to put them back out there on the field, but you know we just got to score. We got to score, and we delivered. Our whole offensive line did great. Running backs, receivers did awesome. Tight ends, whole team effort, total team effort.
And I know you had a lot of highs today, but also on the snap by Tyler, where it didn't seem like the offense was ready. What happened on that play?
There's miscommunication. Gave them 3-2. That's probably why we was in overtime, but we got the dub. So I'm gonna hit the drawing boards and we'll talk about it. And it shouldn't happen again.
Lamar, what was your vantage point on Tylen's punt return? Were you watching on the video? How were you watching it?
Well, I was prepared to go back on the field. I thought it was gonna be like a fair catch or something. But people on the sideline, you have time. Tell him, you got time. I guess he heard it. And man, he went crazy just now. That looked like a movie. Like I was sitting in the locker room, like he just showed his tail. He just showed off. And man, that was just a spectacular return. That was crazy.
Lamar, how good do you feel for a guy like him who hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities offensively? He's never returned a punt in his NFL regular season career to kind of come through like that in that spot and be ready to come through.
I feel like I just returned it. More excited than time. And he just showed his tail, like I said. Man, I'm very excited for him, because you don't know what the future may hold. He just showed out.
Lamar, what you mentioned a few times in recent weeks, it felt like a playoff atmosphere. Why has that been the case, and what do you take out of it?
Just a tremendous, amazing victory, and congratulations to our players for making the plays that had to be made, and also to the Rams. That's a really good football team. Sean had those guys ready to play. They played great football. Stafford, Donald, the defense, every one of the players played great football the whole game. It was a hard-fought win. The thing I want to share with you is kind of what we shared with the team this week, and we just talked about the time of year, all right, and the fact that there are moments in life, and this is your time, all right? 500 years from now, none of us are going to be around. 500 years from now, none of us were here. So we're given this time with these people in this place for a purpose. And there's December, and the time is December. And December football has a meaning to it, right? It's preparation for great events to come. You've got to put yourself in position with December football for what's to come. It's also the Advent season. Advent comes from the Latin adventos, which means anticipation and preparation for an amazing event, which is the coming of our Savior and celebrating the Christ. All right, the good news that changes the world and changes it for all eternity. And so I think our guys showed an amazing display of December football. And it was pretty darn exciting, wasn't it? So I was talking into the phones to myself, shut the deal off so nobody could hear me. And I just kind of said, well, there's nothing you can do right now. I guess I was talking to God. And I said, some overtime, the end of the game, overtime football, players' game. It's a players' game, and the game belongs to the players. And the players will find a way to step up and make plays. And that's how these games are won, and that's what our guys did. And that's the amazing event I'm talking about this December, in this game, in this stadium today, December football. And I just couldn't be more proud of those guys, because it was mountains and valleys. There was peaks and there was lows in that game. It's National Football League in December against a very worthy opponent. And our guys just weathered all those storms, figuratively and literally out there, and found a way to make those plays to win the game at the end. As a coach, there's nothing better than that. What questions you have?
So, John, who reminded you that you had to go shake the hands of the opposing head coach?
Oh, yeah. Well, here's what happened. I ran all the way down there, and I tried to get involved. I was diving over the top of the pile and everything. And it was fast. I went really fast in my own mind, right? jumped around there. I lost my headset and everything. Then I think God probably reminded me. The Holy Spirit, maybe something. It was a small, still voice in my head said, "You got to go shake hands with Sean, who's my friend." And so I ran back, and all my legs, lactic acid had built up, and I had nothing left. All right, so I cramped up on the way back. But he was gracious enough to wait for me, which I appreciate.
John, you mentioned about it's a player's game in overtime, right? But what does it mean to a team when a guy like Tylan Wallace makes the play to win it? I mean, you take it any way, Lamar, the offense, Zay, Odell, but it's Tylan who does it. What does it mean in a broader sense to the team?
That to me is a really great point, because you're talking about amazing events, right? And that's the beauty of football. That's the amazing thing about football. It is the ultimate team game, right? And the guys were so happy for Tylan in the locker room. You'll see the celebration in the locker room after the game with all the water and everything, and the guys going crazy. When you see it, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. That celebration right there is what it means.
John, we normally will have 3 or 4 or 5 guys practice punt returning in any given week during practice. whose decision is it to Duvernay's down Wallace? Why Wallace?
Well, he was our guy. That was already set. So that was the pecking order, so to speak. And then the other person in there is Zay Flowers, which we did talk about and considered putting Zay out there too. But Tylen really, here's a veteran player, 4th-year guy who's kind of been through it, and you just kind of felt like, it wasn't a conscious thing. It's like, you just felt like, oh, he deserves it. He's ready for that moment. Now, did you think he's going to take it back to the house? No. But I thought he'd catch it, maybe make a guy miss. And you could see how tough it was to catch those punts out there. So another amazing advent.
John, you were describing, obviously, your run to be a part of the celebration. I think we saw you on camera screaming right into the camera. Can you think of a win that you got caught up in emotionally that did involve playoffs like this one?
I can't. I don't know. This was really special. I don't know why it was so emotional, this one. I don't have any idea why. I don't know if there's probably no logic to it. It just was.
Given what you all think this team can do you like having a moment like this euphoric moment where you kind of pull yourself out of the fire, not just another routine win? Is there something to be said for this and sort of the story of your season, do you think?
Well, it's a chapter written in the story, and we'll see. That's the thing. It's like, will we be looking back at this moment saying it was a galvanizing moment? The team has been galvanized. So maybe the galvanization is reflected, in a moment like this, and for everybody to see. I think the guys all know that already, but hey, you know what? We got a really tough game in Jacksonville coming up on Sunday night, right? So that's what we'll be thinking about after we get back to work. For now, we're all going to go have a nice evening.
John, you talked about Lamar's play, particularly that last drive in regulation, and then to have this type of game in those type of conditions.
Yeah, Lamar deserves so much credit. You forget Lamar sometimes. All these other things are happening, and we're not going to talk about Lamar Jackson, who drove the offense, okay? And then guys stepped up and made plays, but his poise in the pocket. How about the offensive line? There were times when he had a lot of time back there in the pocket and could kind of search things out. And I give their coverage a lot of credit too, but our guys runs around, scrambles, finds guys downfield. He's a very unique player, and most of the time it works out really great, just like any player. But he's one of a kind. There's nobody like Lamar Jackson.
John, do you have any update on Kyle Hamilton?
Both are being evaluated. Kyle and
Devin
are both being evaluated right now. So we'll see tomorrow.
John, Tylen is a guy going back to training camp, talked about trying to meet the team and so forth. And here we are in week 14, and he makes that sort of play, doesn't go down, on the sideline. What does that say, I guess, about him as a player and where he's come from there now?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. To me, like, words couldn't express what it says. It says what you see, and you see it. That says it all. And I think that point right there that you just made is it. That's the beauty of this whole thing. That's why we're riveted by the game, by the players who play the game and their stories. It's just, I just love it. I just love it. To me, again, Advent, man, amazing events.
John, can you take us through just the significance of that drive by Lamar at the end to tie the game, or to put you guys up? Could you also, if you recall, was Zay the first option for that 2-point conversion? How did that?
The first option was the flat Isaiah. The first, and then Lamar held it. It looked like he might have got it in there for the 2-point on that one, but Lamar, I guess he wanted to make sure, and he's just got so much poise. The drive, the long yardage, the touchdown pass on the 3rd and long, that was an incredible throw, incredible catch. Zay making that grab like that on the run, and then the 2-point play, it's like we said, Lamar.
John, what did you see on the Demarcus Robinson touchdown? You tried to challenge it, but they didn't allow you to?
Yeah, I was kind of looking, it's more about getting the timeout. I thought maybe he stepped out of bounds, but I know they look at that. But really what it was just getting organized for the 2-point play call. They go fast in those now. They don't give you time really. And I think we all did, but I really wanted to make sure we had the right call. So that's a way to get a timeout right there from 20 yards away.
John, what was the explanation on Lamar? They called it a sack, but it looked pretty clear that he had gotten incomplete and they wouldn't replay it.
Yeah, they didn't explain it. They said he was down by contact. They said we're going to wind it right away.
Part of a finish. You've been part of bigger games, but a finish like that.
I don't know. That one goes up. I lost my voice damn near. That one goes up there, man. Just to see Ty running down, all the hard work that he puts into. just the mental resiliency that he had to have to overcome some things that happened to him earlier in the game. And our brother Duve went down and he had to step up and make a play. So that's just what the mentality is always the next thing. That was one of those ones, man. It goes in there as one you'll remember forever.
For you, you said you're kind of heating up and playing some of your best ball. How good do you feel? What's allowing you to have success right now?
Just making the most of the opportunities. Starting to feel better. Early in the season, I felt really good coming in the season, and then some things happened. I didn't feel so good, and now I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Just got to find ways to do whatever I can to help this team win.
What did you see on your touchdown? Looked like you got pretty good with that little fake inside.
Well, the good news is I scored. The bad news is I ran the wrong route. The double move was to the other side, but it just I got a plan, so it happened to work out.
What do you think about Lamar? It seems like, especially the past couple games, he's really trying to stretch the field out there.
Yeah, and it just comes with game reps. You can practice it all you want, but until you see it in the game, you don't know how it's going to work out. But this is why they gave him, paid him the big bucks. He's very special, and just starting to find and figure him out. We'll be a dangerous team. Just got to take care of all the little things.
Can you describe the mentality in the huddle, end of regulation, and you guys need to go down there and score, and Lamar orchestrates that drive? Obviously, Zay caps it off.
Yeah. Same with Zay, just mental resiliency early in the game. There might have been a play or two that he could have back or want back. It was just letting them know, bro, it's going to come down to you in the biggest moment in the game, and you're going to be ready for it. So just let it go. So this is just a mentally resilient team. We just found a way to win against a very good team on the other side.
How good a view did you have of Talon's return, and did you see John run into the end zone?
I seen everybody. I was a little tired, so I already knew he was going to score. I just had to let him catch him down that way. But, he broke a tackle, 2, 3, 4, I don't know how many. It was a play that he wanted it bad. So I'm just happy for him. Happy we found a way to get the win.
In this week-to-week league, when you win a game like this, do you allow yourself to think something special is going on? Can you look at it that way?
I mean, I guess. I feel like, the guys over here, we've thought of something special since training camp, and then it's a week-by-week process to make it all work. Before signing over here, I thought that there was something special going on. It's just, certain things God has for you, no man can take. You look at it, and all the stars are aligned. Same when I went to the LA Rams, and I was like, before the season started, I was like, oh, the Super Bowl is at SoFi. I was like, I want to be playing there. And then you sign with LA, and it's home, you're in your home stadium. Same over here, 2012. Well, the Super Bowl is going to be in 2024. So it's just things that you look at that just happen to align, but it starts with us doing the day-to-day process, the winning, 1-0 each week, all the things that Harbs talks about. That's just where it starts.
What was the reaction to your frenemy sweatshirt from the Rams?
I don't know. It's all love. You know what I mean? I couldn't just have a hoodie with them on it. I had to let them know that I'm on this team, but it's still love. These are guys that I shared moments with that every player in their career wishes for. So it's nothing but love on my side. I was at McVay's wedding. I still have a little thread with Coop and Stafford. Like, these are people that you keep up with and you're always rooting for.
What from that experience do you think you brought here, if anything?
Just the understanding to win, to know the big moments. Like, it's hard to explain it. I guess in short, experience is always the greatest teacher, and being able to be over there, see how it got done, to know what kind of team and caliber team that they had, to know what kind of caliber team we have, if not, a more talented team. Now it's just about putting it all together and finding ways to win.
Odell, you've talked about mental resilience a couple of times. How key will that be down the stretch?
It's going to always be key. You got to one play at a time, one drive at a time, one game at a time. Some things you just got to let go. And there'll be, other moments that come up where you have to overcome things. It's just how football is. So it's going to happen later down the line, and we'll just continue to be this team that we're building right now.
Odell, last one, please. Lamar shared that the touchdown to Zay was something that Aguilar kind of.
For the Talon Wallace. Just win the game. Just want to win the game. That game was just,
hills and valleys, ups and downs. We were down, we were up, we were rusty, but then we got hot. It was just a crazy game. I'm glad we got the win in dramatic fashion, 10-3. God's good.
Justin, when the game first started, they actually marched downfield running the ball. What was the adjustments you guys made to shut them down after that?
Just getting off the blocks quicker. Mike came to us on the sideline and was like, you know, they want you to hold on to the blocks, and what you need to do is just shut them quick. You know what I mean? They were doing a lot of duos in the interior, trying to climb to linebackers like PQ and Rowe. So he was telling us to make an emphasis on just shutting blocks and making tackles quick on line of scrimmage. So that's what we try to do. That's what we did.
As you said, hills and valleys. I mean, you had that, you gave up the 3 points that led to overtime. How did the defense, in your mind, kind of reconvene and manage to get that stop?
We just keep plowing, just keep going hard, just keep trusting the game plan, and just never giving up. Just never giving up. That's we knew it was gonna come to the wire. The score was tight. Both teams were firing, so just keep fighting. That's what we did.
I believe it was 10 straight games for you with at least half a sack. Continued today. What does that streak mean to you?
It's funny. Like, everybody's telling me like, what does it mean? What does it mean? It's just a lot of hard work. You know, obviously I told myself I need to step up and be the best defensive tackle in the league. And you know, there's a lot of guys in the league that's really great, but I believe in myself, and I just put in the work and just trusting the guys around me, Dalfe, Van Noy, Clowney, Peters, everybody, Brody, and just trying to coordinate rushes and just, you know, everybody's eating. You know, we're leading the whole league as a defensive sack, so it's not just me. It's not just me at all. It's everybody on the team. So I'm just happy to be here, just to play with these guys, man. It's a privilege.
Justin, you hit Stafford a couple of times, but is he one of the harder quarterbacks to get to because he gets rid of the ball as quickly as he does?
I can't say that. I think they're all quarterbacks just trying to get it away quickly. He's a great quarterback, but I wouldn't make an emphasis on how hard it was to get to him. I just try to win my rush and just get back on. Just get to him and get our defense off the field, really.
Justin, I know you have the history with Aaron Donald from training him a couple years ago. Did you get a chance to catch up with him before the game, after the game?
No, everybody was hugging Tyler at the end of the game. So when I went to go try to see him, he was gone. I saw one of my boys, Bobby Brown, D lineman on the Rams. I played with him in college, chopped it up with him. He's doing well, and you know, he just said he's proud of me and stuff like that. But you know, I just trying to get better every way I can. So,
Justin, was it easier, harder to battle in this weather? Was that an advantage or a disadvantage to you at all?
I love the rain. I love the rain. I love honestly any weather for me. It don't matter as long as I got my boys with me, some food in my belly, and some Gatorade. I'm good. So it's all about the mindset. You know what I mean? No matter what's going on the outside, it's all about your mindset and your focus. So that's just my take on it.
All right, thanks, Justin.
Yeah.
Tyler, take us through your emotions as you catch the ball on
Yeah, you know, going into it, obviously with Duke going down, me having to step up into that role, like y'all were saying, I haven't really had too many in-game punt returns. So main thing for me, I'm like, especially with the weather, I just need to catch it first before anything. But on that play, you know, we had the return set up, and I was like, this is, you know, a perfect opportunity to put the game away, you know, and shout out to the guys blocking for me, man. It was wide open, so I appreciate them helping me out, and I just saw the crease and I just took it. I decided, you know, it just feels great to be able to make a difference in the game and help the team win.
Tell him afterwards, we just saw you sitting on the bench for a little while, just kind of soaking it all in. Can you take us inside your mind what you're thinking at that point?
Yeah, for sure. Well, for one, I was out of breath, for sure. I was trying to let me catch my breath, trying to celebrate, talking to everybody. So that's one thing I was trying to do. But and then I wanted to sit down and just, you know, just taking the moment. You know, moments like this don't. And, you know, you could say once in a lifetime moment. So, you know, to be able to sit down and just soak that all in while catching my breath at the same time.
You heard Lamar say that guys were saying you got time. Is it silent for you, or can you actually hear guys on the sideline?
I don't hear none of that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't hear nothing on the sideline, but I kind of saw in my peripheral guys were doing a great job blocking for me, so I saw I had some time. And then once I took off, I saw the crease. Guys just had a lane for me, and I just said I just gotta go run as fast as I can through it, and you know, try and score.
When the guy clipped your foot or your leg along the sideline, and you kind of kept your balance, did you feel close to going down at some point, or?
For sure. I was like that. I was about to go down. I'm like, I can't go down right here. I made it this far. I'm like, yeah, I keep going. I gotta stay up, you know. So that was kind of what was going through my mind in that moment.
Sorry to bring up a low point, but it feels like such a part of the story. I mean, that penalty that you had in the middle of the game, I'm sure you were beating yourself up for it. Were you kind of looking to maybe make a difference, have a play where you can make a difference?
Oh, most definitely. You know, like I said, you know, I'm more than the coaches are. You could say I'm harder on myself than they are. You know, going in, I knew I was having a kind of a rough game on special teams going early on. So, you know, to be able to come back and, you know, just wipe that all away and come back and make a play like that on special teams at that, it means the world to me to be able to do something like that.
After that flag, you were talking with coaches for a while, and then obviously they put you out there for a punt return. What was that talk like, and what was it like getting that responsibility after?
For sure, they were telling me, you know, just, you know, it's, you know, it happens, you know, penalties happen. Obviously don't want to happen too often, but, you know, just to wipe that away, you know, dude went down there, all right, you know, we trust you back there, so we're gonna put you back there, and just, you know, I appreciate them for believing in me to be back there and to make plays for the team. So that was kind of the talk.
You were talking about the ball security concern you had. I mean, the Rams returner bobbled it twice and dropped it twice. I mean, does that add to sort of the tension you're feeling as you're waiting for the pump for the kick?
For sure. I mean, you go back there, you see the other team dropping it, you know, you're kind of like, oh man, you know. But you know, I believe in myself. I believe what I can do, what I knew, you know, what I'm capable of. So I just knew I had to go back there, and I knew I had the ball was really the team, you know. So I had to make sure I took care of the ball and take care of the team, and the rest took care of itself.
How tough was it to stay in bounds? I mean, it seemed like it was pretty. How tough is it to stay in bounds when you don't have that much of a space there?
Yeah, it was tough. Like I said, they did a great job blocking, so there was enough space for me just to squeeze through. But I just knew I had to stay in bounds and get as many yards as I could originally. And then as soon as I was starting to stumble, I realized like, oh, you know, I can stay up. I can go score. So I was like, I tried to stay up and do that.
Tyler,
I'll do one more for Tyler.
On the offside call, did you line up any different? Yeah, was there anything different about how you lined up on there? Did you forget to check anything, or was there anything on that?
I mean, on me, I probably should have checked with the ref before I got there. Kind of looked at it. If it was maybe very slight, but like I said, that's on me. I got to check with the ref, make sure I'm good before I just line up.
Colin, real quick, you guys, we know how much focus you have with special teams in practice, and we watch it all the time. But can you estimate how many reps you get as a punt returner a week? Like, how often do you do it?
I get a decent amount. I'd probably say if I had to throw a number on it, I'd probably say about maybe five or six, maybe. But you know, I like I said, I know what I'm capable of. I know what I can do. You know, so getting the reps that I need in practice, you know, I make sure I get those that I need, and know when my number's called, I just gotta go there and
How many years you been catching punts here? Would you say how many hundred? Over 1,000 maybe since you've been here?
Yeah, something like that. So I've been doing it for a while, just not in the game. So.
All right, thanks, Tyler.
Thanks, Tyler.